You're not seeing progress in your nutrition because your plan is unsustainable. And by the end of this video, I'm going to show you how both I and several of my clients have used a plan that works for them, that works for us to be sustainable so that you can do it too. I'm making this video because one of my clients texted me two very long texts. He broke down everything that he eats during the week and several of his struggles. So I'm making this for him. If you're that guy, then I hope this helps you. And if you're not that guy, then I also hope this helps you too, because this guy has a lot of everyday struggles that we all face. If you've ever been busy, rushed, tired, or overwhelmed, then by the end of this video, again, you're going to have a system that keeps you consistent without you having to try to be consistent. Let's go throughout the day in order, and then we're going to zoom out and look at the week. If your breakfast has ever been difficult for you in the past, then I want you to remember these three words. Make it automatic. Make it automatic. You want a system that works without your permission, and that's what we're here to build. So if your breakfast is a struggle for you, maybe you eat junk food or you have Fruit Loops with marshmallows in them every day because it's the only thing that you have time for, but you also don't want to have the discipline to get up earlier, you're not a 4 a.m. club person, and you actually enjoy your life, then you're going to need something that's going to work for you, not against you. You need a system that's automatic that works without your permission. And so here's a few solutions that I really like that are very easy to implement. Number one, a blend and go station. If you pre-mix on Sunday morning all of your dry ingredients for the week in one little container or in several little containers, one per day, and then you pre-mix all of your wet ingredients for a smoothie or a protein shake in another container, then all you have to do is mix the two containers together. Now, if you just use milk, then this is easier. Some people like to use milk and Greek yogurt and combine different things together for their morning solution, and that's fine. You can definitely do that. Again, just have a container of wet, have a container of dry, put them in the blender together, and then you're good to go. That's going to make the effort lower. You're not going to have to think, oh man, I need to measure out this many tablespoons and this many cups. You just throw it together because you've already done it. Number two, my favorite is what I call the Mosey yogurt bowl. And I heard about this from Alex Hormozi, the entrepreneur guy. And he takes Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt, no fat Greek yogurt, and he mixes a little stick of water bottle flavoring in it. You can use Mio, like the little squeeze drops, or what I do is just I like the Skittles packets, the water bottle flavoring Skittles packets. Those are so good in it. And you can get plain Greek yogurt or vanilla Greek yogurt. You mix a little bit in there, and just a taste. You kind of get a feel for how much you need once you try it, and then you just mix it up with a spoon real quick and eat it. And you don't have to have a ton of it, but it's very easy and it's very, very convenient. And here's the best part. You're probably not going to use the entire stick of flavoring. So what you can do is curl down the top, kind of like you would do a chip bag, like you curl down the chips. You can do that, and then you can actually stick it inside the container on the lid, and it holds it in there on the side of the container for you. And then you can just take the entire container with the little flavoring packet attached anywhere that you want, as long as you have a fridge, and you are good to go. So bring that to work, and you only need to buy one of them, and it should last you for several days. Another way that I like to start my day is with a protein bar or a protein shake. And again, the goal here is something that's easy, not something that you have to spend a lot of effort for. And so if your budget allows it and you're able to spend a little bit of extra money for a protein bar, it may not be the best, highest, nutritional value of everything that you ever eat. But they have several good, like Premier Nutrition or Quest has several bars that are good. I like the Robert Irvine Fit Crunch bars. Those taste amazing, and they're much better than the Quaker oatmeal high protein. No, that's not high protein, but these ones taste much better. And so all you need is something like that. Or if you pre-mix your protein shake the night before, or maybe you actually buy like the little Fairlife bottles that have it in there, or the Core Power bottles, things like that. Those shakes are excellent, and they're really easy to grab, and you can drink them anytime without needing a fridge at first, because they come dry, or I mean, they come like warm. So you don't even have to refrigerate them. You can just drink it. Either way, either way, all of these are going to be viable options for you to take on the go anywhere you want, and they're going to be much faster than trying to cook like a big breakfast with like eggs and egg whites and like lean turkey sausage and like throw all that stuff out. If you're like me and you don't have time in the morning, then just grab a bar and grab a shake and you're already 50, 60 grams of protein into the day. And if you're actually like me, I guess those are other options that I have done. But in this current season of life, most of the time I just don't eat breakfast. And that is absolutely a viable option. Some people call this intermittent fasting. I don't do it on purpose. It's not like I'm not eating from this hour to this hour. It's just, I just don't have time. And so for me, not eating is better than eating because if I do eat, the options that we have around at the moment are not options that I want on my plan. They're not options that serve me. They're options that deter me. And so if you want a system that makes it automatic, then you need something that helps you. And if just not eating does that, that might be a better option for many people. If you've ever struggled with lunch, then I want you to think prep to win. You're prepping in advance so that you can win when it's time. The guy who texted me, one of his struggles was that he ends up eating cheese and crackers for lunch because he doesn't have enough time to microwave foods, number one. Or if he does have enough time, he doesn't have a lot of good microwave options. And so that's a struggle. And then number three is a lot of the colder foods that he could just grab and go out of the fridge there at work, they're not great and it's kind of hard to prep them. And so I wanted to make a couple easy solutions that we can use. So for cold options, you can make protein snack boxes. So if you go out and get any deli meat, then you can keep the little plastic containers it comes in and you can use these for this. They're basically free. And you're going to buy deli meat anyway, right? For this. So the first ingredient is deli meat, and you're just going to grab a couple pieces of it. What I would recommend doing is either count out the slices, or if on the nutrition label it has in ounces, then weigh it out and put in however many servings of deli meat you want for that. Typically, I usually probably shouldn't do this, but I eat like a quarter pound of deli meat each time I do this. And so it tastes really good and it's very low in fat and in carbs, but it's very high in protein for very low calories. So this is an excellent option. In there, you can also throw in boiled eggs if you're into that. You can put a little snap container of your favorite sauce. Like my mom dips her boiled eggs in like mayonnaise and mustard mixed together. So if you're like one of those weird people, then you can do that too. You could also throw in a handful of fruit, a handful of nuts, whatever works for you. But this is just a box. Like make it a little tiny lunchbox that's cold. Base of it, the main entree is deli meat, and that's going to help you get high protein. Another option that you can do, not my favorite option, but for some people, you guys are weird, and a cold rice bowl might work for you. And that's where you start out with rice and then you add in some shredded chicken, or maybe you have some prepped beef or something like that. In fact, you can even, if you really want to make this bare bones, you can even grab those like containers of shredded chicken in water from Walmart or from Sam's Club or Costco, I'm sure has it. And what these do is it gives you a ton of chicken in a very small amount. So you don't want to get the chunks, you want to get the shredded chicken. And you can just stick that on there and then you just drizzle whatever sauce you want, whether that's teriyaki or barbecue or like Korean barbecue, I think would go well with this. And then you actually eat it all cold. Maybe throw on a little bit of salt and pepper just to make it a little more lively. But this cold rice bowl might be an option for many people. If you don't have a microwave, still a lot of flavor and low calories compared to the protein. A third option is deli meat sandwiches. And I actually really like this one. I know we've already used deli meat in a previous one, but if you're not just going to raw dog some deli chicken or something, then what you can do is grab some small pieces of sourdough or something. I think Farmhouse has some sourdough that's really good. And, just pick a bread that you like and just make a sandwich. Like go back to third grade and make an actual deli meat sandwich. Here's the key though, don't put on a ton of other flavors and a ton of spreads. You don't want mayonnaise on this. Mustard's like pretty much no calories, so that's cool here. But you don't want to do that. Some people I know actually use Greek yogurt here. and they'll actually use Greek yogurt as their spread. Like they put that on their sandwich. I've never tried it, but I also don't really like that kind of flavor on a sandwich anyway, like mayonnaise or Miracle Whip or anything. So try it out. Let me know how it is. But I've seen this happen. I've never done it before, but it is an option. And it's super easy to build and it doesn't require a lot of heating. Here's the mistake that people do is they think that they're at Subway and that they need an entire tray of options on their sandwich, and that's not the case. What you need is some deli meat. What you need is some salt and some pepper on top of it. And then you need a slice of cheese, like a slice. You don't need to load it up with cheese. And then you don't need to put 1,000 pounds of vegetables and sauces and spreads and everything on it. You just need to keep it simple. Keep the protein the star, and this will serve you well. If you don't, then it will add up the calories, and this is going to be defeating instead of helping. So remember, we're prepping to win, not to lose. Let's talk about microwavable options for a minute, because I know a lot of us do work in a place where we can microwave a lunch or where that's a realistic option. So my favorite one is Lean Cuisine mac and cheese. They have a Vermont white cheddar mac and cheese, and it's super easy to make, doesn't take much time, and it tastes incredible. A little black pepper on top of that, chef's kiss. It's quick and it's decent protein. It's not going to be the best protein to calorie ratio ever, but it is a lot better than other fast food options that you could be doing, and it saves you time. And it's a lot better than always having to prep foods in advance, although we'll get to that in just a minute. I also like the Lean Cuisine pizza. If you have an oven that you can use at work or a toaster oven, then this is fast and satisfying. They also have microwave instructions on it, so that's fine. I've just never tried it before. For non-microwave options, I really like the Quest protein chips. They are expensive, so you're going to be thinking $2, $3, $4 for a little bag of chips, like a personal bag. So if that's not in your budget, then don't worry about it. But if you have a little bit of extra cash and buying some really good flavored chips, then this is a way to go. And then my probably the most intense one in terms of your time, but probably the most cost effective one long term is going to be Sunday meal prep. I love this option if you have time and if you have effort and energy for it. Sunday, you come home from church, everybody eats lunch, and then as soon as lunch is over, what you do is you grab out all of the chicken that you bought the day before. Here's what you got to do: buy it on Saturday, come in on Sunday, and then in the afternoon, in like 2 hours, just block off 2 hours, and you're going to cook all of your chicken, all of your rice, and all of your veggies in bulk, and you're going to portion them out for the week. Now, I'm not going to go into a deep dive on how to do that because there are tons of amazing guides here on YouTube that you can go find. But this is going to definitely make your budget happier, and it's also going to make your time budget a little bit happier too. The only downside is that it does actually require effort on your part. So if you're going for something that you don't have to touch, you just have to grab it out of the freezer and go, then this might not be the option for you. But if you're a little bit more budget conscious and you got to meet the goals without breaking your bank, then this is an excellent option for you. Let's talk about veggies for a second. We really need to make it stupid easy. Okay, the guy who texted me that I told you about, he mentioned that he eats several veggies. I think broccoli and asparagus were kind of his two most common veggies that he eats. He said that he eats a whole lot of protein at once. So this is, he might have chicken or steak or venison or pork or something as the main entree for his dinner. And then he also has veggies on the side. That's my advice for you. Follow this guy's example. But at some point, it does get intensive. And if you've ever cooked veggies, then it's going to add another 15, 20 minutes to every meal that you make if you make them from scratch every time. So what you can do is you can just prep them a little bit faster. Different ways to do this. Obviously, you can steam them, you can roast them, you can air fry them, whatever you want. What I'd recommend is roasting in large batches. Get a big sheet pan, and on that Sunday when you food prep, or just, even if you're not food prepping, what you can do is you can just take all of your veggies for the week, or half of them if you want to do Sunday and Wednesday or whatever. Break it up however your schedule allows. But roast them in a big batch, stick it in the oven in 400, and then just keep checking it, 10, 15 minutes, depending on how many you have and what kinds they are. And here's the secret sauce for this, okay? Throw on some seasoning. I like Tony's because I'm from Louisiana. You can definitely use Old Bay or any other kind of like all-purpose seasoning. But here's the key. Instead of drizzling a ton of olive oil on it or some other kind of oil, what you want to do is grab Pam light cooking spray. Spray that on the veggies, and you're going to still get the same sticky effect of an oil without having nearly as many calories. So I know the back of the label does say 0 calories, but there are still calories because it's still oil. But this is going to help you to have a non-stick surface and to have the seasoning coating on the veggies without having a bunch of ton of extra calories. If you're trying to cut down, this is a great option. If you don't care about that, then use olive oil by all means. Do whatever you want. I don't care. But that's an option. Another one that you can do is pre-portion Ziploc bags. So suppose maybe you don't want to batch cook them all. If you're being realistic, if you batch cook a bunch of veggies and then you stick them in bags or in containers, they will get a little bit soggier. So they might be crispy the night you make them. They won't be crispy the night that you eat them. That's okay. What we can do is take fresh veggies and stick them in a Ziploc bag. And there's kind of two levels to this. Either you can just stick them in a bag by themselves, and then you can pre-portion them and dump them out into a container, microwave them, steam them, cook them, whatever you want to do the night of. Or what you could do is you can find microwave safe Ziploc bags and throw a little bit of water in there, like a tablespoon of water, and then microwave it in there, and that will steam them. Make sure that you vent it. Follow the instructions on the box. I don't care. Chat GPT it. But try this, and then you can have steamed veggies fresh every time that you need them instead of having to cook every vegetable for the entire week in one spot and then have soggy vegetables later. This is minimal prep, but also minimal excuses. We talked about the daily kind of, breakfast and lunch. We talked about veggies for dinner. Let's talk about the week. The entire week has a couple levels of discipline that you can use here. For level one, and this is kind of the good enough mode, honestly, this is going to get you the results that you need. You're going to want to have protein with every meal. You're going to want to have some movement every day. If you're trying to cut down, then maybe increase your average step count by 5,000, something like that. You're going to lose some weight without having to do a ton of tracking. And you can do what I used to do all the time and just give yourself one treat per day. Or what you could do is save them up and cash out for a bigger treat at the end of the week or something. A lot of people like to go and hang out with friends or have pizza Friday night. Okay, just don't eat your treat from, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then eat it on Friday night with your extra pizza. That's fine. Just do that. That's for the good enough level, and you absolutely will make progress with this. In fact, when I was in high school, I followed that exact plan, protein with every meal, extra movement each day, and one treat a day or a couple treats saved up for a big one. And I gained 10 pounds and lost 2 inches off my waist. It works, I'm telling you. If you want to go to level two and you're actually going to track your calories and different things like that, then here's an easy way. If you just multiply your weight by 0.7, then that's going to give you how many grams you have to eat per day to really keep your muscle mass or to maybe grow your muscle mass a little bit. If you just do that, it's going to give you a minimum. Just try to hit the minimum. For me, that's 120 grams of protein a day. It's not a ton. And if you can just eat 120 grams, like that's not that hard compared to eating 200 grams. There's a big difference there. So don't necessarily go with the 1 gram per pound. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. This is going to save you some headache. And on the days when you just don't have the time or the stomach space or the calories for this, then this is a minimum you can absolutely meet without a ton of extra effort. And then if you're really just trying to go easy for tracking, maybe if you're trying to cut down like this guy is, multiply your weight by 10 and eat that many calories and just go with it. If you pair that with adding in extra movement and everything, you're going to cut down fat pretty fast. And if you have a solid training program, you're going to be building muscle in the process or at least maintaining your muscle. Although most of my guys tend to build muscle while they're in a cut. Now, for food logging, I want you to remember these 3 words: simplify or die. Simplify or die. What you really want to think through is if you're logging your food, you're not for perfection. You're trying to simplify it because perfection kills. You know that. This guy, he has analysis paralysis, and he told me about how tracking meatloaf and tracking spaghetti or other foods like that, that you're not really going to measure out with 1 cup of rice equals this many. You're not doing that. And so he has a hard time because there's so many variable foods. How many specific teaspoons of this, whatever did I put in this recipe? That's not the important part. If that's how every tracking session goes for you, then you're going to just beat yourself up. You're going to make it impossible, and then you're going to quit. And that's why the program won't work for you. You need to simplify, or it's going to die. So search something in your food app, whatever you use. A lot of my guys use Trainerize. That's my app that I use to coach people with, or several people use MyFitnessPal. There's other good trackers out there that you can use and explore, but those are the ones that I'm most familiar with. And just find a food that is basically the same name and figure out kind of close to how much you think you may have eaten and then track it. Here's what I want you to remember. Done is better than perfect. And if you forget everything else that I say from the rest of this video, done is better than perfect. If it's perfect every time, then you're not going to track it. Let's be realistic. Most people are not going to get the perfect macros every time. Unless you're a bodybuilder competing to go on stage, you don't need to be that granular with your tracking. 80% tracking beats 0% tracking every time. And so if you're 80% close, then that's okay. And also, here's what's really going to blow your mind. The FDA lets you be 20% off on your food calculations on those nutrition labels. So the food that you're tracking may be 20% off anyway. You're not going to be perfect, even if you're reading the labels exactly and measuring out every grain of rice. You're not going to be perfect. You're still going to be 20% off. So it doesn't matter. What I'm saying is just get it done, because you're not going to be perfect, even if you are trying to be perfect with it. Done is better than perfect. And find something that works, find a system and a routine. For some people, they track right after they eat each meal. Some people, I tend to track twice a day, like kind of in the midday after I've eaten lunch, and then at the very end of the day after I've had all my snacks, and then I've had dinner. I try to track all that at one time. And what this does is this whole system, day by day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner options, and then your weekly view of just really trying to make sure that it gets done and that it's not perfect. What it does is it makes your wins automatic. And our goal is to simplify the battle so that we can actually win it. And if you're having too hard of a time actually doing it, it may not be because you're lacking discipline. It's probably not because you're not willing to work hard. It's probably just because the system you're using to do it is too hard for you. And my goal is to make it simple so that you can win without your permission. If this helped you, then I ask that you maybe just give me a like. And I hope that maybe if it's extra helpful, that you'd spread it out to somebody else. I help guys like this train every day, all day. And if you want to get the kinds of results that most of my guys, 10 to 50 pounds lost. If you want to build muscle like you've never built before, I just took on a bodybuilder this last week, and he's absolutely crushing it already. If you want results like those guys, then go to my Instagram. It's at Pastor Swole, and just DM me something. Hey, I'm interested, and I will get you set up as soon as I can. And then we're going to get rocking in no time. See you on the other side, and hope to hear from you soon.